So now that we've learned to recognize hypothermia in a baby and we understand the dangers of it, how do we manage it? How are we going to save this baby? First of all, they need to have an external heat source. This means something from outside the baby's body to warm him up. This can be the mother's body in kangaroo care, or it can be an open warmer, or even a bulb with a reflector. If you have an open warmer, it should be set at 36.5. Setting it at this temperature will keep the baby from becoming hyperthermic, as this is also dangerous for the baby. Please keep in mind that just putting on warm clothes and a blanket will not help if the baby has become hypothermic. He needs an external heat source from outside of his body. Once we have started rewarming the baby, we should check the temperature frequently, at least every hour. The baby's temperature should be going up 0.5 degree per hour for at least 3 hours in a row. If this is not happening, then we need to look for the causes for this. Perhaps our warming device is not working properly, or perhaps the room is too cold. It should be at least 25 degrees. Another problem can be sepsis in the baby. This should be checked for early in the treatment. If the baby is not warming up well, we should also look and make sure the baby is not wet. Evaporation, again, can cause the baby to stay in hypothermia. It is important to check the baby's blood sugar. As we've mentioned, hypoglycemia is a very dangerous thing and can easily be caused by hypothermia. We should continue to give oxygen to the baby. Even if he does not appear to be hypoxic, he is going to need more oxygen in order to burn those calories. We also need to check for the cause of this hypothermia. If we suspect sepsis, we need to check for it early and start antibiotics quickly. We can think about asphyxia or about external causes such as exposure, cold breezes from a fan or air conditioning, or maybe even wet sheets or blankets, and change these quickly. So remember, check the baby's temperature every hour, and it should be increasing. If it's not, you need to check for other causes. We also need to remember to feed this baby early. If he's unable to take anything orally, we can put in an NG tube in order to feed him milk. If the baby won't tolerate feeds, we can give IV dextrose. Again, it's important to keep the baby warmly clothed and dry. Especially if the room is below 25 degrees, we need to keep the baby with clothes and a blanket. And don't forget hats. There's a lot of heat loss through the baby's head. Wool hats are the very best. If the baby is not improving or is very sick, there's further management that can be done. If the baby appears to be going into shock, has poor capillary refill, we can give fluid boluses. 10 ml per kg is a good amount to start with. This can be repeated. To warm the fluid before it goes into the baby, place the IV line in the cot with the baby. This will help to keep the baby from being further cooled by the IV fluids. Sodium bicarb can also be used if the baby has become acidotic. To check for this, blood gases is the best way. You should also monitor other labs. Remember to watch the blood glucose, as hypoglycemia is very common. Also, you want to watch electrolytes, calcium levels, and for other signs such as bleeding. It's time for another break. Please pause the video here and answer a few questions about the previous section.